Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive. We're Towson positive today. We're positively here at CVP. We are in the heart of downtown Towson. We had head coach Pat Scarry on, trying to feature some things going on, not just on the university, but off the university and around the corner. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Had the Magic 8-Ball scratch-offs. This has been a lucky batch. I have some pictures of some winners here today, and one of our lucky winners is our next guest. I'm going to get the pronunciation just a little weird because my name's Nestor Aparicio. People mess it up. Patrick McQuown,
yeah.
Yeah,
you did good.
Right.
Passing
well,
grade.
It was Quown, which is not going to make it on Wordle.
No.
But anytime there's a Q, there's a U, and sometimes it's a K. So I don't know exactly how to pronounce that.
Yeah, trust me, you're not the only one.
Irish, are you for real?
Scottish,
all right. Oh, Scottish is crap if it's not Scottish. You are the executive director, and you have a big fancy title at this fancy startup, and the StarTUp, the TU stands for the TU that Pat Scarry's doing over the corner. Tell me about startup. I've heard a lot of things about you. We're connected on Facebook and LinkedIn and all these places, but I don't know enough about your organization.
No problem. So the startup is a building and programming that goes on inside the building. So it's effectively unlike any other building anywhere in the world. And don't take my word for it. Poets and Quants called us that. And so
who's that?
Poets and Quants is the leading publication for colleges of business.
Okay, good to know. It's a Forbes for colleges.
Yeah,
okay, got it. All right, good.
Yep. So effectively, you walk in the front door, and there's 6,000 square feet of free co-working. No membership, no fee, no affiliation with the university. Open 5 days a week. Got 500
It's a workspace.
So it's a co-working space. Anybody can use it. Yep.
Would the word incubator be? It's a
co-working space. That's 6,000 square feet.
This isn't a small business. I've seen those too.
We have that going on. We have something else going on, but that 6,000 square feet is solely dedicated to the community for free co-working space.
So it's a library without books.
Yeah, effectively, it's a library.
Right? Okay. Is that good? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
See, all right, we're done now. We can go home now. We can go get a crab cake. Idea for this. I mean, that seems so simplistic. I have space. It has Wi-Fi. We have desks. We want people in the community to work and have jobs and have the gig economy and all that, right?
Yeah.
That's where we are. So there wasn't really a calling for this years ago because, like my wife at Verizon, she had an office. They made her come to that office, and that's where you went to work or you worked from home or you went and got a suite up in, 302 up here and paid $6,000 a month in rent, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's how we did things before COVID, maybe?
Yep. So we opened in 21 after COVID.
So this was a COVID project, kind of, sort of?
We had the construction going on all during COVID,
Well, I mean, 5 years ago, today was the day, tapping everybody on the shoulder and masking up. Where were you 5 years ago? Where were you, Patrick McQuown? 5 years ago today, like you were in the process of getting this going anyway.
Yeah. So I moved and got hired here in February, Valentine's Day, 2020. Is when I moved.
Came right into the sauce, didn't you?
My wife and I really lucked out. We had furniture delivered when it was shelter in place. You
did a lot of curbside probably at the beginning here.
Yeah,
well, CVP was one of the places where I got involved with them. They were doing hot meals for first responders. At GBMC and Sinai and St. Joe and the community, and life was different then. So where is your space? Because I'm sure I've driven by it 1,000 times.
Yeah, right at Chesapeake and Washington. 307 Washington Avenue.
Okay, so the idea and your background, you've sold businesses, right? You're an entrepreneur.
I was a student entrepreneur at George Washington University. Yep.
All right, so been a listener. What Smith Center too. What did you do? What did you sell? What was your specialty?
Yeah, so my first company was Proteus, and effectively we did texting. So think of like American Idol, texting to poll.
Proteus.
TEUS.
I know that name. What was
Everybody
that?
knows it.
Why?
You know why?
Because American Idol?
No. I wish I could take that claim that everyone knows it from that. No, Proteus was a Greek god, son of Poseidon. And so it's a name that everybody hears, and they're like, oh, I know Proteus.
It's like Nestor.
Yeah, and then that new...
You know Nestor's a Greek god.
Yeah.
You know that? Nobody knows that.
So I got a student, Hermes, and everyone calls him the luxury brand, Hermes. He's like, no, I'm Hermes, the running guy.
Well, you get all the smart students there because they're all trying to do things. So are you in the entrepreneurial program? Give me the relationship with the university and the community and just in a general sense where you came from, I guess, in 18 or 19
Yeah.
to say, we're going to have this thing called a startup that's going to be what I explained pretty easily, which is anybody can come over and plug in and get away from their house, their works, go to work at a place in Towson, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you the crib notes. So again, I was a 2-time exited founder. Then I went to go teach at Yale University. I found this thing where you help students and faculty start companies.
Did you get good pizza there?
Yeah, Frank Pepe's.
Yeah, everybody. When I mention New Haven, I got to talk pizza.
Yeah, it's Frank Pepe's.
Yeah, okay. That's your joint. Okay.
You see, that was quick, right?
Pizza. Go ahead.
So went from there, and then I effectively became executive director of entrepreneurship at James Madison University.
Okay.
So getting divorced. Harrisonburg's a great place to live if you're getting divorced.
Okay.
So I focused solely on students. Was very successful there. Met my wife, who's from Manhattan. Said, well, I'm going to go back into the private sector, and then TU recruited me. And so when I came down here, I'd never been to Towson. It was always the sign on 95. You know, the
So
20
this is
years.
under Kim Schatzel's.
Yep, Kim Schatzel recruited me.
Okay.
So she told me about the bill, and I said, look, I can dropkick that. And so she wanted to do something a little bit different, which was like we bring businesses in, and we charge them. I said, no, I'm doing this. And to her credit, she was like, you run with it. And Towson let me run with it.
What are you running with?
So we got the free.
Give me the elevator speech
Yep.
when you go in and meet the president of Towson right
Yep,
before the
yep.
plague, and you're like, I got it. She has a building. You have an idea. That's now people talk about you a lot to me. So like, whatever you're doing something.
I appreciate that. So we got the free co-working space. Then we got 6 conference rooms. Any org can reserve complimentary, anywhere from 25 people to 100 people. And you can.
Hey,
you can
Foreign,
reserve
you
those.
hearing this? I can have conference meetings at his place free of charge. I don't have to bring him over to my house.
He knows it. Yeah, he knows it. So we got that.
You know how I used to do this is the back room at the CVP here.
You
with
can,
some wings,
you can do
know?
it. We got a media
I can
room.
cater
We got
in.
the
I
whole
can do it all.
nine.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So you have a big screen where I can impress people.
Yeah, they all got 100-inch screens in them.
This would be funny. Like, I would get a new card with your address on it and tell everybody that's my new office.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
You got to come meet me in my new office in downtown Towson. Big office. I have a full multimedia center.
Yeah.
It's all of that, right? I can
Yeah,
say
it's
all that,
all
right?
that stuff. I'll give
so
you
it allows a jackwagon like me from Dundalk to play big.
Yeah,
maybe if I want to.
it engages our community on both the individual and business level, and it's really been a game changer.
All right, so it's a sleepy, sort of chilly, crappy Friday afternoon in March. Today, it's almost 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Nobody works on Fridays ever. How many people are in the building right now?
When I left, there's probably in the co-working space about 30.
30.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Give me a little.
It's
or do you even know what they're
from
doing?
like Jim, who's there every day. Jim is the SVP of analytics for MedStar. He's there every day.
That's where he works.
Yep, he works out of there every day. In fact, we
Now,
reserve a
why
table
does
for him.
Jim from MedStar work there? Is it screaming kids at home, not the right workspace, wants to be in a work?
Since he wasn't a practicing clinician, he basically lost his office during COVID. When he found out about the building, he was sick of working from home, and everybody just loves working out of there. There's a community. They support each other. They eat lunch together.
Wait till my wife finds out about this.
Yeah, it's cool.
She gets to get rid of me.
Yeah,
right, obviously,
everybody walks
so.
in. I always say nobody is ever just whelmed. They walk in and they're like, holy moly, this is crazy.
Well, tell them about if there is someone out there and you're looking for this sort of an environment. I lived downtown during the plague 5 years ago, and I had a neighbor that bought a fancy condo down the hallway from me, right? And I got to know him a little bit. And this was an older couple. I mean, older than me. I'm 56, so they were in their 60s. They had left State College, Pennsylvania, and he was a lawyer. Mm-hmm. And I looked him up a little bit. Didn't really even get to know him well because I left downtown. But he was adamant when I spoke to him. I need to have a workspace. I need to find an office. I need to. You know any office people downtown? I'm like, dude, it's downtown in 2020. You could probably get an office in any building you want here if you're looking to write a check, right? I mean, but that's how he was thinking. And I thought to myself, dude, you just bought this beautiful condo that looks over the harbor. Find a room over there in your office and I can't work from home. Can't work from home. It's not like going to work. And that's more of an old mindset of, I think the plague changed that for a lot of people. A lot of people work from home and thought this isn't good for me either, right? So that probably changed the calling for your need is way different than if the plague didn't happen, probably, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep,
because this guy was looking for you, and you kind of didn't exist downtown in that.
Yep.
In my mind. Because
Yeah.
he wasn't looking to have letterhead or his name on a gold plate on an office. He was just like, look, I need to go to an office. I can't be here in a house with a living room and a kitchen and be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know, and in his mind, he couldn't do that.
No.
And I'm sure Jim from MedStar probably felt the same way,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, free co-working wasn't a thing till we made it a thing, and so it's been a great experiment.
All right, so experimentally, you don't really have to. This isn't like Planet Fitness where I got to join up for $10 a month. This is literally, they want to work Monday, they come over.
Yeah.
What do they have to do? What are the
Nothing. They sign in. That's literally all they do. They sign in.
This is too easy. The segment, you're making a segment too short.
You got to let me finish.
Give me the fine print. Give me
the third part to our building is the accelerator that we have. That's where companies anywhere
is that an incubator?
Accelerator, not incubator.
All right, I'm just checking. All right, different. What's the difference between an
incubator? You're
Mr.
earlier
Yale
on.
guy. I don't know
you're
the
earlier
difference.
on. You're like, okay, I'm not in the market yet. I'm flushing out my idea.
Ah, okay.
Accelerator, you just got into the market or will get there very, very shortly. Right?
Okay.
And so that's what. Their thesis has kind of been validated. Right?
Accelerators. I'm in business. It's real. I need to grow.
Yeah.
But I'm not
start,
big enough to have an office up here.
Yeah. I'm going to start scaling and stuff like that. Yep. Exactly.
All right. So give me some success stories of your. I mean, a success story wouldn't be leaving your building, right? Maybe or no, graduating.
So we had one that raised no money, meaning they didn't give up any equity in their company, sold for $10 million cash.
It's better than Shark Tank.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Way better. Way better, right? So here's some of my favorites. Zenjoy. These are 3 high school best friends.
All right, I already like the name of this company, but okay.
So their iced tea is. Remember in the aughts, everything was like hustle, 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 5-hour energy?
Yeah.
Theirs contains, I'm going to screw it up, but it's ingredients that like calm you down, like get you to relax a little bit.
Like
right?
an indica.
Yeah. Just slow it down, right? They only raised $40,000. They figured out their product. They figured out manufacturing. They figured out fulfillment. They're in 200 Food Lion stores in every single Giant store there is. They're crushing it.
What is it?
It's a delicious iced tea drink, which I will bring you when I leave.
Well, I don't want to it's Friday. I don't want to be mellow. You know what I mean?
You can have it whenever you want.
I mean, that sounds like a Tuesday drink, not a Friday drink to me. I mean, Fridays get it up, not keep it down for me.
Yeah,
you know?
no, we got a whole bunch of companies like that come through the accelerator.
I got music that's just for Friday. We have Patrick McQuown here. Right? Did I pronounce it right?
You're close enough, buddy. You passed.
Pronounce it the right way so I get it right.
McQuown.
McQuown.
Yeah.
McQuown. Okay, I'm trying. It is the StarTUp, if you've heard about it. It's sexy. It has a big T and a big U. The StarTUp TU. So give me TU's involvement in all this. And is this a place where students are just wandering over and doing some homework in your place too?
Well, what I like to say to the students, it's the only building that the university owns. That's the real world, right? Like it's not academics, not theory. It's people in there are working on their business or for the company that employs them.
So you're not coming in here to do homework. You're coming in here to start a business.
The students that use it for homework love it because the vibe is so much better than the library. The library is very gotta be quiet.
Well, the first thing I said, it's like a library.
Like a library.
Like a library. It's a place you go
but everybody
to get ish done.
Works,
right?
that does work rather than studying or reading or research, a library is not a great environment. There's not a lot of power outlets. The HVAC isn't really that great.
It's like working in an airport.
You can't really have a meeting in there, that type of thing. Whereas our space, you can have all that. We have 500 power outlets for 6,000 square feet.
Anytime I want to have a meeting, I can have it at your place.
Yeah, so the conference rooms, you got to be 5 or more. And then if you're under 5, there's collaborative furniture all over the place. They can have.
It's like an HOV lane in California.
Yeah, big, huge booths that are bigger than this, that have walls around them, and nobody's going to bug you.
Well, I think you've done a hell of a job explaining this to me. So, I'm more interested in exiting businesses and all this other Yale stuff you did. And this project for you, seeing it through to this point, is there a next step, another building?
Yep. I mean, there's so
you taking us down the street to Morgan and Kopp, and what happens next?
So we for example have a bunch of people that are like, hey, we want to start investing in some of the companies that come out of the accelerator, right? So they by themselves, not affiliated with the university, are starting that fund up. You might know him, Kyle Richardson.
I know Kyle very well.
So
yes.
Kyle's involved in that, right?
I've done hot yoga with Kyle Richardson. I screwed him up. Let him tell you. Ask when you see Kyle.
I will text him and ask him about the hot yoga with Nestor.
I grew up with his wife too. So DJ and I, she Patapsco. She ain't one of us from Dundalk, but she Patapsco. So Kyle came here as the kicker, as the punter, after Greg Montgomery. And Greg was special to me, the late, great Greg Montgomery. He was a Houston Oiler, and I was an Oiler fan. So G Monty and me used to roll a little bit, and he was a little different cat. And then Kyle came in, and Kyle and I fell in right away, and he wound up dating my childhood friend, been married for 25 years or whatever. But when they were dating, before they were married, my wife and I, maybe it was before my wife came along. It was before my wife came along. I talked them into going to hot yoga with me.
Okay.
In 2001, he was a player. I mean,
Yeah.
this is 1, 2, 3, because he got out of here a little after that, went to Cincinnati, Seattle. He punted a couple other places when he left here, and he's lived here forever. But I talked him into coming to do hot yoga with me in season. And he and Dawn met me at hot yoga in Midtown Yoga, and he got into class, and he did his whole thing with me. And 2 days later, I was out at practice, and this is in the old building, and Billick comes up to me, and Billick's as big as you. He looks down at me, "Hey, I want to see you." He says to me, "Billick."
You dehydrated my kicker.
Worse. Worse. I came into Billick's office, and he always had a thing. He and I were great. He's my partner. But he's like, "Hey, what'd you do to my punter, man?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Dude, I took him to hot yoga there." No more hot yoga for him. Kyle couldn't practice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Kyle hurt his hamstrings.
Yeah, I'm sure.
His
Yeah.
hamstrings were. I hurt the punter of the team in week 8. So I'm fully responsible for that. Kyle would laugh if he's here, but it is true. What's Kyle's involvement? Give me.
He's helping to start that fund. We also we're doing what's called a joint venture studio with MedStar, where they give us their doctors' inventions and we bring them to market. Kyle's involved in that.
Nice.
Yeah, he's
Kyle's
involved in
a good
virtually
man.
everything we do out of the building. Yeah.
The pride of Cape Girardeau,
Yeah.
Missouri.
Yeah. And then he got Femi to go through our accelerator last summer.
What did Femi do?
Femi is working on predictive sports analytics with some people out of Hopkins.
He told me, I had Femi on last January. We were doing a thing for Turnaround. It was a big charity endeavor for abused women and their children with Turnaround. And Femi came down to Faley's and he told me, "I'm working on this accelerator thing. Yeah, you know this." He told me something about it, but I didn't. He was in the front end.
Yeah, he's Femi.
Femi's brilliant.
Super quick. So I know your sports. You'll love this. So at the showcase, Femi was there. Kyle was there. They're wearing their championship rings. There's a local guy played for Seattle and a few other teams, Tony Covington.
Okay.
Tony's there as well. Michael McCrary is there.
Oh, Mike, sure. I saw
So
Mike a couple weeks
McCrary,
ago.
they're all in the back. Tony walks through the back. McCrary goes, "T-Cov." They played together on Seattle in 1999. They hadn't seen each other until the showcase.
Wow.
And they bump into each other at the start.
Well, your boy should have been with me down at Maritime Magic because I bumped into McCrary and his sister.
Yeah.
And, Max, my dude. That era of Ravens players. I mean, it's amazing. You've name dropped 2 players that have lived here a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
They're here because they played football.
Yeah.
They're here because they won championships. And they're trying to do something that's not only legacy-oriented, but just doing good community stuff.
Yeah.
Following up on Tom Maddie and Artie Donovan and John, the people that left behind a legacy here.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian tried to leave this behind, my company. I mean, that was sort of where he was for Baltimore Positive for what I've done. The players that have been behind are doing great stuff right here in Towson, right on campus, right with you. Right?
And that's what we do. We help them out. We give them support. We give them programming. We give them funding. And it's awesome. We've won 2 national awards. You go to win these awards, and people from University of Kentucky are like, "So where's Towson? Is it Ohio?"
Yeah, Towson, right, exactly. It's like Bowie. What do you win an award for? What is the accolade?
Yeah, so
the
the biggest award we won, it was in our first year. It's called University Economic Development Association. It's all about the economic development you do, right? And so universities now want to be engaged. It used to be built a wall and all that type of stuff. Now you want to be engaged with your community. We won as the most engaged university in the nation.
Well, I mean, if you have kids that are out off campus interacting with other people, even if they're attending bar and they meet business owners and they're in pre-law and they meet Robbie Leonard, who was here a minute, and he needs a clerk. That's how that is the real world. The real world is we put you up behind. I mean, internships were my thing in my industry. We lost John Feinstein today. I wanted to be a journalist. I'm still trying hard all these years later. But I wanted to be a journalist, and part of it was be an intern. Learn your craft, learn how to do it. That was the professional environment that they wanted me out in. But not everything was like that at college campuses. It's sort of like work on your papers and you're this and you're that. Nah, man, go out and meet somebody who's going to hire you one day. Or incubate yourself and accelerate yourself and have an idea that might be like Up Dog Yoga here in downtown Towson. Have a good idea.
Yeah.
Get on a mat. Just don't get the punter sore. We have Patrick McQuown here. Did I get it right?
Yeah,
McQuown.
You're doing it, yeah.
Ow. Ow. It's like Lionel Richie. Ow.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Patrick McQuown is here. He is the startup in TU and Towson. You're at the corner of what? Where is it?
Washington and Chesapeake.
I was going to say Allegheny in Pennsylvania, so I would have gotten that. They would have never found it.
They're the Armory.
They Google you, man. You're like a big deal, right?
I'm trying.
So have you been like Pat Scarry was sold out at any point? Is there ever a day where if I come over, I'll have my face pressed up to the glass and you don't have one of those 600 outlets for me?
No.
Oh,
No.
you're good. How? So here's a really good question for you. And Chris can speak to this. I wake up at 3 in the morning. I'm weird. Really weird. I get more done before 8 a.m. than most people do. When can I have access to your building?
Well, the building is open 8:30 to 5:30.
Okay.
Except Friday we close at 4. Otherwise, it's.
But if I'm a
8:30 to
gym rat, you give me a key.
And then
for the
if you go
weekend?
through the accelerator, you get a 24-hour key. Yeah.
Baldinger had one of those at the NFL Network, so that
Yeah.
was, I'm about to bring him up.
Yeah. So the guys that go through the accelerator, they get card access 24 hours a day.
All right. Did I fill it? Did I get it all? Did I leave anything out?
Like I said,
next time we're going to do Yale and pizza, but this time we're going to keep it to
I would say you got to see the building. Do an episode out of the building, and that way you can convey to your audience like what the vibe is, what the atmosphere is, and how it just can't be manufactured. It's done organically, and it's really like nothing else you've ever seen.
Here's I got 2 problems with doing the show in your place. One, I got to bring my lottery tickets, and I got to give my Magic 8 balls out. That's one. And the second thing is it's the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. So I got to figure out how to get like an imported crab cake. I got to figure out like a food truck, somebody to bring me a crab cake by if I'm going to do the crab cake tour in your place.
We can do that.
DoorDash.
I mean, just
Grubhub.
get a food truck out there.
That's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm working on it. All right, well, Patrick is here. He will be there. Go see him at the startup. It's all part of the great things that are going on in Towson. It's all part of our Maryland Crab Cake Tour. It's all brought to you by the Magic 8 Ball. You look 18 years of age. Number 59 is yours.
Thank you, sir.
Number 59 was Joe Maisi probably back in the day. My best to Kyle Richardson. You got to tell Kyle. He should be on here doing this.
I'll tell him.
Tell him don't be a stranger to me.
Yeah.
Hold on. You and I'll take a selfie right now.
In
fact,
fact,
I'm going to send it
you
over
and
to
Kyle
Kyle.
at the startup. That's what I'm saying.
You want Kyle to do the show with me?
At the startup, yeah.
All right, I'm into that. All right, so here we're going to do. Here we go. 3, 2, there we go. 4, 3. Kyle, you're getting this one right now. Kyle Richardson, I'm looking for you. There you go. All right, I'll send that to DJ too. All right, we're here at the CVP. We're going to talk my favorite thing. I came in and I'm a little hippie and I got a little L3, L4 thing that I might be going to GBMC to get a knife on at some point. So the whole hot yoga thing for me was taught to me in 1999. Brian Baldinger of the NFL Network with the Pinky was my co-host at NFL Films in 1999 and 2000. And if you know Baldy, he's got a lot of energy. Nasty, you got to do hot yoga, man. You got to get in the studio. There's girls. There's people. You'll sweat. It's great. It's non-contact. You're going to love it. You're going to focus. You're going to focus, man. And I'm like, all right, Baldy, I'll go take a yoga class. And 26 years later, I'm a devotee. And Susan's here from Updog Yoga. We're going to talk to her about her beautiful studio. I think it's a second or third floor. I see it up the stairs right across the way behind Banditos. I'm looking out the beautiful window of the CVP in Towson. I may have chased some girls here and listened to some rock and roll back in the 80s, and Schaefer's was across the street, and the Crease was around the corner, and poor Dick's down the way. But I'm an old soul here at Towson learning about new things like the startup, the all-new CVP, and the new Updog Yoga Studio across the way. We're back for more. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, the Maryland Crab Cake Tour about crab cakes and startups and accelerators and incubators and stuff. Stay with us.